Ladies and gentlemen, in this quick presentation, I would like to take you through an application we call TrashIQ. And TrashIQ is a software platform that seeks to revolutionize how county governments, national governments, municipalities, and even societies view and manage their waste. So the first slide that we have here has a bit of description. I am not going to read that. But what we have here is what I already mentioned, that this is seeking to revolutionize how waste is being managed. So for a long time, we have had issues in how waste has been managed. And the three key challenges that we are addressing here are: number one, manual processes. So we are seeking to completely eliminate manual processes. And how we are going to do this is, of course, by bringing efficiencies in terms of software that automate some of these things. Why manual processes? Of course, because when we do manual stuff, we lack data, and we also have high costs in terms of operational costs, because of lack of insights to know, for example, which routes to optimize and probably which decisions to take at whatever time. So we are seeking to completely eliminate the manual processes in waste management. Data I already mentioned. So you find that these bodies that I mentioned, whether it's county governments, national governments, municipalities, and even societies, do not have access to data. That is, in this case, waste management data. And even those that could be having data, it is stored in books, and others in software that is scattered here and there, and therefore it means that data is not fully reliable. The third thing is automation. Some of these things need to be automated. For example, how can we know which route to prioritize when it goes to collection of waste? So these three things are the things that we are seeking to optimize in this application. And those ones I already explained. Let me quickly rush to the other script. What are the key features of this thing that we call TrashIQ? And again, we have pushed them, or rather compressed them, into three. The first one is real-time data, where we have, we are going to be implementing sensor logic or sensor technology, which is going to be giving us real-time data into the system to tell us, for example, how far full a bin is. That is not the only real-time data we are going to be having. Remember, this application has a client, or rather a customer, or a grassroots user facing side, which they can use to send us real-time data into the application. And then I already mentioned automation. So we have things like scheduling and reporting, and these things are all going to be done automatically. There is not going to be manual intervention when you jump into the system. Then we have smart tools, and in smart tools, what we are talking about here is how we can predict how waste is going to be probably in the next week, in the next month, and things like those. We are also going to be using smart tools to be managing information in such a way that when we have holidays, the system already can predict for you that you need to mobilize more resources, because there is definitely going to be more waste in specific areas. So here we are talking about efficiency through automation, and that is what I already described. And then we are talking about manual challenges. So we are solving manual challenges through automation, through efficiency that is brought about by automation. So remember, just a few seconds ago, I mentioned about support grassroots speakers. So the system does not end at municipalities and their offices. It also extends to the people who are at the grassroots, and these are the people that we are calling waste workers. These people are the people who do most of the work. So we have an application that is facing to them, and therefore they can use it to report to the system what exactly is happening. So they have mobile tools. They don't have to go to the office to use a computer. It can be used from their mobile devices. Number two, we do not stop there. We also do trainings, and we also do development for the people so that they know what exactly they are supposed to do, and also how they are supposed to perform in specific cases. And then the third thing is enhanced communication, where we are talking about getting feedback promptly about specific things that are happening. Very important, so that we know which decisions we need to take. So this thing is also empowering communities through engagement. How are the societies being, or rather engaging with the application? So citizens can, for example, provide feedback or encourage or rather facilitate communication in terms of where has waste been dumped illegally, and when that happens, they earn, or rather they are given points that they can redeem for money. So for example, if I go and I find somebody dumping illegally, I can report that through the application, I can attach photos, and then I can earn points out of that. These people are also going to be encouraged to separate their wastes from their houses, so that waste does not need to be separated from the dumping sites or from the landfills. And when again they do that, the system monitors who is able to separate their waste properly, and again they are rewarded for that. That encourages what we are calling circular economy. So in conclusion, because I want to take you to the application, we are talking about a cleaner future. And here, the 4 things that we are doing is empowering communities, then we are promoting sustainability, and then we are doing cost saving for municipalities. You can imagine where we have optimization in routes. You can also include a fleet management there, where you're going to know exactly which vehicle is using what kind of fuel, and therefore we are doing cost saving. And then we are doing citizen engagement, the one that I just described, where they engage, and of course they don't engage for free, because they also probably want to make something, and they definitely do, so they are rewarded for engaging. And that is it. And because we have done enough talking, I will go now and show you what exactly we are talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, the application that I have been describing here is not very complicated. It looks the way you are seeing there. Because why complicate it? So here, I don't want to go into these ones, because again we have a time constraint here. I want to make it quick. So, but you can see from this dashboard that you can add a tenant, you can add a CBO, you can add a premise, and you can also add a premise region. This is for the people who are doing collecting in the apartments, in the malls, and in such places. So you can manage them here. They can also use this application. Now, what about municipalities, county governments, and so on? So here we have add allocation. Allocation is basically that huge space in your region. So for example, I have 2 examples here, Mombasa and Nairobi. But for example, if you're in, let's say, Mombasa County, then you can decide to separate, or rather divide Mombasa County into the locations that you'd like. There is no limit here. It depends on what you want to call allocation. So to create a location, it's basically easy. Just add a location here, just one field, and you are done. The second thing that you need is a region. So a region is that smaller piece or smaller region that we have within the location. I'm using the word region to describe a region. You forgive me for that. So here I've given examples like Kimbo, which is in Nairobi. You have Dandora, which is in Nairobi, and we have Ruiru Market, which is also in Nairobi. You can add another one. So here we have the region name. You can give, for example, let me see, Nyali. Remember, these are again just examples. We can say location is in Mombasa there, and then here the in charge person. So you need to say, or rather to attach here, who is the person in charge of this region. For example, we can say it's this one. And then, of course, if now the person that is in charge is not here, you can just go ahead and create a new person. So this is how simple you have made the system. And then the region type. Is it a landfill, or is it a is it a dustbin area? You specify that again. Then, for the purposes of maps, we also have a latitude and longitude. So if you want to be able to see that space on a map, you have that capability by adding those. And if you need us to help you with that, we are open to help you do that. That's how you create a region. After that, you can also add a dustbin. A dustbin is basically what it says, a dustbin. And what is in a dustbin? The first one is the dustbin ID. The dustbin ID is going to help us to know which dustbin. Remember, I talked about sensor technology. It's going to help us to know which dustbin is what percent full. So we will be able to know depending on based on this dustbin ID. And then the region here, which region is this dustbin in? So you can select the region. And then the next thing that we have here is the dustbin type. Is it organic or is it plastic? These ones you can add as many as you wish. And also note that this field is not mandatory. And then here we need to specify what is the dustbin capacity. How much waste can it take in kgs? And then here we have current level. Current level is going to be auto-populated from the sensors again. So you can just leave that. It's going to be automated from the sensor. Then we have last emptied. This is also going to be capturing the data of when this last dustbin was last filled, or last emptied rather. And then here we have the sensor ID. This is the sensor that is attached to this dustbin. Remember again to monitor and send real-time data on how full the dustbin is. And then after that we have a sensor, so we can also add sensors here. I'm not going to go into that. And the last thing that I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, is how to dispatch waste. So now after we have gathered all that information and we have waste, how do we dispatch it? The dispatch waste is here. So you come here and you add a new one. And then here the date is going to automatically pick today's date. But you can change that, right? You can change that to whichever date you want. And then the issuing region, you need to specify where is this waste coming from. So you can pick that one there. And then the truck license number. This is the truck, or rather the vehicle that is transporting this waste. So this is going to have a list of all vehicles, and if the vehicle is not there, you can again go ahead and create. So the system is simplified such that people don't have to navigate from one place to another to do a simple thing like create a vehicle, create a person, create a region supervisor and stuff like those. You just create it on the fly as you go. So here you can search this vehicle by either the number plate, you can search by the vehicle type, you can search by anything. So you just start typing KD. So if I do KB, this one is going to be filtered because it's not KB, it's KD. Alright, if I do KD again, the vehicle comes up. So I can select it. And then the other thing here is to attach the photo of the truck. Remember, this system can also be used on the phone. So you must not like take photos and put them somewhere. You can just take photos immediately. You can see here. So if I click on this camera, it is going to start open my camera and I can take a photo on the fly. The other thing is the dispatch time. So remember, you could be saving this data, but then the dispatch is going to happen later. Save earlier, dispatch happening later. You can attach here the time that you're going to you have done the dispatch. By default, it's also going to pick the current. So it took 13:45 when I started, but now it's 13:47. So you can change that when you are dispatching. Then here we have the destination. Where are you taking the waste? You need again to select. So this one is going to have all the destinations where you place your wastes, and you can select where this thing is going to go. Here we have the driver. Which driver? Remember, we had a truck here. So the driver is not auto-populating from the truck. But if you have attached your drivers to trucks so that we know that KDB 456Y is driven by driver ABC, then we can automatically attach that so that once you select the vehicle, it automatically populates the driver. But if you randomize the drivers, for example, every day, such that this vehicle goes with this driver today, tomorrow it will go with another driver, then that is why we have left this one open. So however you are operating yours, we can customize this to suit your specific case. So we can select this driver here. And then down here, we have dispatch waste bin. And you notice before I go here, that here we have bins emptied. It's 0 at the moment. And then down here, where my cursor is hovering, we have total bin waste volume. Again, it's 0.000. Now, these two fields are going to be filled by data that is going to be coming from this table here. So nobody is going to be entering bins manually. No one is going to be using a calculator to calculate this volume. The system will automatically do that based on bins. Let me show you an example. I'll pick the first bin here, and of course it will pick that information, and then I'll say this one has 180. All right, so when I did that, you notice that beans now changed from 0 to 1, and the total bean volume changed to 180, which is this. Let's go ahead and add another one. So that is Ruiro. We can go ahead and add this, and then see this one is 200 and maybe 90. 200 and what? Let's say 220. All right. So when I do 220, this changed from 1 to 2, and this one changed from 180 to 220. Let me change this to 240 so that we can see that this is going to automatically update, right? And the last thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is the driver signature. So again, this is, you can sign it on the screen. That's amazing. So the drivers do not need any special gadgets. So when you see this, don't start imagining how you need to buy special gadgets to sign. No, this one can be done on the mobile phone. As long as the mobile phone has a touch screen, it can be signed from there. And then here we have the logistics manager. I'm assuming this is the person doing the dispatch. They are also going to sign their space there. And when that is done, they just save, and that is done. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the initial module, that is the collector module, from taking to dumping that I just demoed. The system does not end there. It has other modules, and that's not the most important part. The most important part is that this system is not cast in stone. Everything you see here can be customized to suit your workflow. The system is built from ground upwards, and therefore whatever it is that you have in your head as the proper workflow can be built in here. We are waiting to hear from you. We are here to bring a better economy and to contribute to positive climate change. Reach out to us, and we are happy to work together. Bye-bye, and thank you for your time.